Welcome to Skidmore's annual Employee Retirement and Recognition Ceremony. Thank you for joining us in recognizing faculty, staff, and retirees for their service and their commitment to the college. As is our tradition, we wish to begin our ceremony by paying tribute to those retirees who passed away this year. We also want to pay our respects to Richard Mickus, manager of custodial operations and painters, who passed away in March. Richard joined Skidmore in 2000 and was part of the custodial operations staff who won the President's Team Award in 2011.
Alan Crocker, Rosemary Greenwood, Mary Greer, Shirley Murphy, Paul Roeder, Margaret Taccardin, Isabel Williams, Teresa Stevens, Charles Blodgett, Beverly Becker, John Butler, and Richard Mickus.
Hi, everyone. I know we all wish we could be doing this in person. It would be terrific to have our usual retirement and recognition lunch. And after this semester, I think that we'll appreciate those things even more. But we are where we are, so we're going to do this online, and we'll make the best of it. So let me just say that our employees are the backbone of everything we do at Skidmore College. They fulfill our educational mission and keep the lights on. And we pause each spring to recognize employees' continuing contributions and the various milestones along the way. Although we can't gather for our annual retirement and recognition ceremony in person this year, there's been no interruption in our appreciation for the dedication of our faculty and staff. Indeed, there's probably no better example of the spirit of creativity, ingenuity, and hard work at Skidmore than this spring when we witnessed our entire community come together to do the college's work under the most unprecedented and daunting of circumstances. So I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to each and every one of you for all of your efforts and for the work you do each day for the college. I'd also like to express my special appreciation and congratulations to the members of our Skidmore community who are retiring. Patricia Poirier, in advancement, has served the college for 41 years. Mary DeSanto Rose in dance and Colleen Manning in custodial operations have each contributed to Skidmore for the past 39 years. Marlene Williams in the post office has been with us for 37 years. For 35 years, LMA Burns in dining services, Catherine Demosic in biology, and Ann Patterson in advancement have shown dedication to their roles at the college. Judith Halstead has taught in the chemistry department for 33 years, and Gautam Dasgupta has taught theater for 3 decades. Linda Hoffman in Scribner Library, David Karp in sociology, and Mark Bauer in IT have all been with the college for more than 20 years. Thomas DeSalt in custodial operations have served 19 years, and Donna Markison in advancement and Martha Weissman in English have been part of the Skidmore community for the past 15 years. You've brought your passion and dedication to your roles at Skidmore. Skidmore is a better place because of you. So we thank you for your service. And I'd also like to acknowledge those who have reached important milestones in their service to the college. We appreciate your continuing work at Skidmore.
5 years ago, the Sustainability Office promoted the new improved bike share program called Bikemore, and Skidmore was in the planning phase to create a new science building to replace the existing Dana Science Center. It was to be known as the Center for Integrated Science. Thank you to the following employees for 5 years of service. Ten years ago, the new student-run community garden celebrated its successful first season with the Harvest Dinner. And Skidmore students joined thousands of others on International Day of Climate Action, rallying for global climate change. Thank you to the following employees for 10 years of service. "15 years ago, the first-year experience curriculum was approved by faculty, replacing the LS1 and 2 programs for entering freshmen. Facebook was the new and exciting social network, and the Red Sox won the World Series after 86 years of drought. Thank you to the following employees for 15 years of service." "20 years ago, a new millennium was approaching, and Y2K occupied the minds of students, faculty, and staff. Skidmore News celebrated its 75th anniversary, a newly revamped writing center moved to Ladd Hall, and a groundbreaking was held for the renovation and expansion of Case Center. Thank you to the following employees for 20 years of service. Skidmore would now like to recognize those members of the Skidmore community who have served the college for more than 25 years. Their outstanding dedication has no doubt made our campus community stronger over the years, and today we recognize their commitment for providing an exceptional liberal arts education to generations of students, each in their own unique and important ways. 25 years ago, Scribner Library was located in the Sports Center during renovation of the library building, and President Porter introduced the greatest fundraising campaign to that point in Skidmore history. Hilda Arechea, Diana Barnes, Michelle Boyes, Maureen Cummings, Patty Heritage, Kate Levitt, Lynn Loya, Missy Simpson, and Earl Taylor. 30 years ago, as New York State changed the law prohibiting smoking in certain areas, the dining hall became 70% smoke-free with a small area set aside for smokers. Martin Luther King III, son of the civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., opened that year's monthly convocation series, drawing a great crowd. For 30 years of service, Skidmore thanks Sandy Brown, Gautam Dasgupta, Jeannie Eddy, Deborah Fernandez, Patty Hadfield, Alan Keach, Michelle Koskinen, Leslie Meacham, Mary Beth O'Brien, Monica Ravare Richter, Denise Smith, Shirley Smith, Joyce Teig, Mike Towner, Mark Woodworth. 35 years ago, a groundbreaking was held in September for the new Janet Kinghorn Bernard Theater. President Palamountain announced his intention to retire after 22 years of service, and Skidmore said a fond but sad farewell to the Skidmore College Department of Nursing as the last nursing class graduated. For 35 years of service, Skidmore thanks John Anzalone, Joel Brown, Brian Burns, Catherine Damazik, Mark Hoffman, Cindy Hurley, Janet Sorensen. 40 years ago, actress Jane Fonda and her husband, political activist Tom Hayden, spoke about the harmful effects of nuclear energy versus the benefits of solar energy at Skidmore College in October. The women's volleyball made its debut at Skidmore as the college's newest intercollegiate sports team, and artist Georgia O'Keeffe and dancer Twyla Tharp were artists in residence at Skidmore. For 40 years of service, Skidmore thanks Robert Benton, Peggy Boyers, Roy Rothheim, Sheldon Solomon. And finally, 45 years ago, Skidmore College still retained and used property in downtown Saratoga, thus dividing the campus between there and its new North Broadway campus. That same year, WSPN, Skidmore's FM radio station, began regular operations with a transmitter on top of Johnson Tower and a studio in Case Center. For his 45 years of service, Skidmore thanks Jesse Oliver.
The President's Awards are presented each year to members of the Skidmore staff, faculty, and student body who've embraced the educational mission and cooperative spirit of the college through their exemplary commitment to personal excellence, campus pride, and community service. The awards are intended to highlight and celebrate the wide range of contributions by individuals and groups to the quality of campus life. Anyone may nominate a student, faculty member, staff member, or team to be considered for a President's Award. Nominations speak to significant contributions across our campus community, and thanks to all of you who took the time to nominate someone deserving of this award. Our first individual award goes to Patty Bozen, our Director of Health Services. Patty came to Skidmore in 1998 and has been Director of Health Services since 2006. Her steady leadership of a stellar team of clinicians at Health Services has long served our students well. This year in particular, as the college has grappled with the impact of COVID-19 nationally and locally, her professionalism, calm demeanor under stress, extraordinary work ethic, and selflessness have been absolutely crucial in our efforts to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 on our community as much as possible. Patty and Julia Routbord first talked about the coronavirus in January 2020, before students had even returned to the campus and before it really received much notoriety nationally or even internationally. She had already been in touch with Saratoga Public Health about specific campus populations that might be more at risk, and she was actively planning clinical response protocols to what was clearly a growing global health concern. Patty embodies the value of her nurse practitioner profession. She is person-centered and egalitarian in her approach to problem solving and teamwork. She never loses sight of students' individual needs, vulnerabilities, and strengths while also keeping the health of our entire community in mind. She and her team collaborated with Student Academic Services to track students returning from areas most affected by the coronavirus, and then she reached out to those students to encourage them to come to Health Services. She is particularly gifted at providing culturally sensitive and clinically sophisticated care for individual students with health vulnerabilities, students who unfortunately have good reason to be hesitant about seeking medical care, often based on historically marginalized social identity status. She helps them develop trusting, healing relationships with Health Services over time. Patty is equally strong in developing relationships with community partners, and her long-term solid relationship with Saratoga Public Health was crucial as the college began to shape our response to the growing impact of the coronavirus pandemic. She's been a contributing member of the COVID-19 working group, which helped manage some of the key decisions we faced as a campus as the pandemic emerged. She was constantly updating her medical expertise related to COVID-19, drinking from a fire hose of information so that she could provide the working group with the most up-to-date recommendations regarding community mitigation procedures. She worked 18-hour days for many days in a row in the last weeks of March, managing health services, figuring out new clinical protocols, participating in the COVID-19 working group, training key staff members in facilities and campus safety about how to use personal protective equipment, and ensuring that personnel in various areas, for example, Greenberg, housekeeping, campus safety, had access to accurate and timely information. In a time when all members of the campus were realistically and reasonably anxious and afraid, Patty's ability to reassure without sugarcoating risk was invaluable. People know they can trust Patty, and that trust helps them trust Skidmore, which in turn helped us manage through this crisis. Under Patty's leadership, Health Services staff have been unwavering in their commitment to treating students, even knowing that as health professionals, their contact with patients puts them at higher risk for contracting COVID-19. Patty worked with her team to develop patient care protocols that serve students and protect staff. Finally, Patty worked with Tim Monroe and Kara Seto-Bales to collect protective equipment, several car and truckloads, over the last few weeks to deliver to Saratoga Hospital, working on weekends and after hours to generously donate her time to this incredibly important endeavor. For all of her many contributions to the Skidmore community, Patty Boson is most deserving of this President's Award. The next President's Award goes to Dan Rodeker. Dan Rodeker came to the college in April 2000, first as second in command of facilities services, and then later on becoming director of that operation. Dan oversees one of the most complex areas in the college. He and his team are responsible for all facilities, including maintenance and upkeep, new construction and renovation, and crucial planning to ensure that we do not develop a backlog of deferred maintenance. The college's physical plant is valued at over $400 million, and in Dan's time we've completed or are working to complete more than $250 million of new construction. He's basically in charge of building and maintenance in the small city that is Skidmore College, and the variety of details he needs to manage defies imagination. He oversees one of the largest staffs in the college and has earned their respect and trust. Dan has been a strong proponent of Skidmore's many sustainability initiatives, especially as we have constructed new buildings and upgraded old ones. He was particularly proud of our photoelectric solar field and our use of geothermal heating in cooling. Dan has a perfect demeanor for a demanding job in which he is constantly receiving requests for service, upkeep, and construction from everywhere across the college. He's conscientious, personable, caring, thorough, responsive, and creative. His quiet, steady presence and can-do attitude give people confidence that he's understood their issues and will work to resolve them, even if he's not able to do so as quickly as everyone might wish. In this aspect of his job, it is helpful that he is calm and not excitable, and he always takes an institutional perspective in prioritizing the funds he has to spend, funds that are never sufficient to meet the full array of physical plant problems, issues, requests that he has been charged to deal with. Maria and I have had many interactions with Dan over the years relating to the maintenance of the 125-year-old Scribner House. This building, the former home of the college's founder, is one of our architectural treasures, but because of its age, it requires constant care, upkeep, maintenance, and repair. Dan has always been a pleasure to work with and has gone out of his way to ensure that the presidential home and its grounds are both livable and welcoming to the many visitors for whom it provides an important first impression, and for many perhaps the primary impression of the college. Over the past few months, Dan has served as a contributing member of the COVID-19 working group, and now that we are actively planning for a return to operations in the fall, he has crucial responsibilities for managing the many upgrades and modifications that will be required for our academic, residential, and other buildings to meet the many demanding requirements of our health and safety plan. Dan Rodeker is someone who does incredibly important work for the college, work that directly touches the lives of everyone who is employed or who studies here, but he is self-effacing, and so many people are not aware of his many contributions. He is most deserving of this recognition. Our first Faculty President's Award goes to Tim Harper. Dr. Tim Harper began his Skidmore career on September 1st, 1998, when he came to teach in the Department of Management and Business. Since then, he has offered courses in organizational behavior, business strategy, and social identity in the workplace, among others. He's served as faculty coordinator of the department's signature course, MB 107, and has been department chair, among other responsibilities. Outside his department, Tim has served as a member of the search committee for the Dean of the Faculty and Vice President for Academic Affairs that brought Michael Orr to the college. And he served for 6 years on the Institutional Policy and Planning Committee, including 2 separate terms as vice chair. During his time as vice chair, we met regularly, along with Joshua Woodfork, to plan committee agendas and discuss how to make meetings most efficient and effective. Tim always brought to these conversations and to the IPPC itself an institutional perspective and not just one shaped by his departmental affiliation. That is, he was able to view problems and issues under discussion as institutional issues and not just as matters that affected him as a member of the faculty. At the same time, he also brought his disciplinary expertise to bear in our discussions, especially as a member of the Budget and Finance Subcommittee, which holds in-depth discussions about the budget as part of our annual planning process. Tim served on that subcommittee in his capacity as vice chair, and I believe he did so during other years as well. As vice chair, Tim was called upon to run IPPC meetings in my absence, a duty he willingly and skillfully took on. Perhaps most notably during the 2019 spring semester, he agreed to take the lead in presenting to both a faculty meeting and 2 community meetings information regarding IPPC discussions of employee health insurance benefits. As we all know, talking about health benefits is a complicated activity fraught with the risk of becoming unpopular with community members. Even so, Tim worked with VP for Finance and Administration Donna Eng to produce a PowerPoint presentation that provided a very helpful context for members of the audience, and I believe that lowered the anxiety level around this conversation, at least to some extent. In his presentation, Tim did a terrific job of explaining the broader trends outside of Skidmore that affect this issue and making complex matters clear and understandable. In so doing, he helped our community attain a better grasp of this important subject. Throughout my tenure as president, I have argued that we should do a better job of evaluating not just the quantity of a faculty member's service, but more importantly, its quality. In Tim's case, he did much more than just show up. He was thoughtful, he looked at things from an institutional point of view, and he never hesitated to make critical comments or raise questions when that work needed to be done. For example, at one point in our discussion of the Center for Integrated Sciences, Tim argued strongly that the wider community did not really understand the need for and the scope of this project. He recommended that we hold a community forum devoted solely to this topic. We did so, and that meeting proved to be quite helpful in broadening understanding of the Center for Integrated Sciences. In conclusion, Tim has performed in an exemplary fashion as a faculty member and in broader service to the college. I am pleased to present him one of this year's President's Faculty Awards. Our final faculty award this year goes to Denise Smith. Dr. Denise Smith has completed 30 years of service to the college, having arrived in 1990. Since 2016, she has held the Tisch Family Distinguished Professorship. As a teacher, Denise has a reputation for being tough, demanding, knowledgeable, and caring. Students come prepared for her class because they know that Denise does not run a typical lecture class. They're called upon to answer questions or go to the board to explain a diagram or a concept. Not only does this technique help to review the material, but it also encourages students to take responsibility for learning, as well as for knowing the material at a much deeper level. It's also very clear that Denise has earned tremendous respect from her students, respect for her mastery of the material, and respect for her support and care. Overall, the students' evaluations of Denise are extraordinarily positive regarding her ability to teach and motivate students. It is clear that she has the uncanny ability to connect with every student. She makes learning enjoyable and makes difficult concepts accessible. She strikes a wonderful balance between rigor and care, high expectations and support for her students. Like all great teachers, Denise demands more from students than they realize they can accomplish, but she gives them the support and resources so that they can indeed rise to the occasion. Denise does an excellent job of engaging our students in research as a research mentor for numerous students. She excels in this close work with students, and the students thrive. Beyond participation in complex experimental designs and data collection, students comment on how working with Denise has broadly enhanced their knowledge of research itself. Her research accomplishments are unprecedented for a teacher-scholar at a liberal arts college. In fact, Denise's funding, publication, and presentation record would be impressive even at the most prestigious research-focused universities. One of her colleagues comments that she, quote, has an innate ability to translate science into a format that can be consumed and acted upon by regular human beings like firefighters. She has an obvious love for her work and for the people she serves. Her passion is obvious to anyone who has heard her speak or read one of her reports. Denise extends the impact of her research by participating with several organizations that share her concern for firefighter health and safety, unquote. Denise has served the college and her profession in many ways over her 30-plus year career. In her time at the college, Denise has served on numerous governance committees, working groups, including the Committee on Appointments, Promotions, and Tenure, as chair of the Faculty Executive Committee from 2014 to 2016, as a member of the DOF VPAA Search Committee that hired Michael Orr, and on the Institutional Policy and Planning Committee, serving as vice chair. Hers is the profile of a consummate and contributing institutional citizen. Professor Denise Smith is most deserving of this recognition of a President's Award. Our final award is the Team Award, and it goes to the Learning Experience Design and Digital Scholarship Support Team, LEDS, and to the entire IT department. The Information Technology Department provides vital services that support virtually, no pun intended, every aspect of college operations. When things go well, as they do in the vast majority of cases, technology is transparent and people tend to pay it no mind. But when something goes wrong, the technology and the work of the IT team come into sharp focus. During the COVID-19 crisis, our reliance on technology increased many-fold, and the members of the IT department stepped up and made it possible for us to continue to function. When it became clear that we needed to move to remote learning, Dwayne Sterling and his staff switched into high gear and delivered beyond our expectations at a very challenging moment. Collectively, they've been calm and level-headed while managing a dizzying array of requests and sudden training needs. Their dedication is clear, and this unfortunate crisis demonstrated that we are lucky to have them. With extremely short notice, information technology, especially LEDs, user services, systems administration, and tech services, just to name a few, was able to successfully accommodate online learning for students isolated both on campus and off campus due to the COVID-19 pandemic. They worked day and night, many extra hours, in order to ensure the college's educational mission would be accomplished and the 2019-20 academic year could be successfully completed. With social distancing restrictions changing by the hour, IT personnel had not only to come up with creative solutions to an exponential increase in the use of college technology and bandwidth, but also to find ways to work together to manage this project with hour-by-hour changes in personal contact and workday restrictions. Throughout the ramp-up to online learning, IT continued to support the CIS and Annex building projects, ensuring those project deliverables and deadlines were still being met. And through it all, IT personnel displayed patience and empathy as they worked with students, parents, faculty members, and staff, often outside of working hours and at personal cost, in order to support all sorts of technological challenges as the college moved to online learning. To cite just one of the most visible groups, the Learning Experience Design and Digital Scholarship Support Group, LEDS, provides support for faculty members to explore a broad range of pedagogies involving digital technology. But LEDS really stepped up this past spring as the college pivoted in a period of just 2 short weeks from in-person teaching to the remote learning environment. As one faculty member commented, quote, "In the year of the plague, there couldn't have been a continuation of this disastrous semester without them. They have provided a colossal service with energy, collegiality, and humility," unquote. Another wrote that, quote, "There has been no team more central to our operations this spring than LED/IT, unquote. With the increase in reliance on our online systems over the past few months, the entire IT team has been the glue that few at the college see. As another colleague commented, quote, "While there are many students, faculty, and staff who deserve to be singled out for their over and above commitment and personal effort during the COVID-19 crisis, the college's main mission to provide a superior liberal arts education would not have been sustained without the heroic efforts of Skidmore's Information Technology Department," unquote. They kept it all together, working in ways that are by and large invisible, as I've said. So I am very pleased to award this year's Presidential Team Award to the IT department. So now, to wrap up, congratulations again to all of this year's award winners. And thank you to all members of the faculty and the staff for all you have done and continue to do. Maria and I wish you a healthy summer and extend our sincere gratitude for your ongoing commitment to Skidmore College and to our students.